Hello, welcome to Tips and Tricks. We have our host today will be Dan McCann, our CEO. We
Hello.
will wait a few minutes just to get everyone logged in.
Excellent. And Anne, maybe I'll stop sharing. Are we sharing a poll with everyone at the beginning here?
Yes, that's right.
Excellent. So if you're just logging on, we're going to be talking today about coaching and really trying to get a lot of coaching done in a little bit of time. And we'll talk a little bit about maybe even getting 3 hours of coaching done in 30 minutes. And some tips and tricks, real simple stuff in SymTrain if you're not using it already. These tips and tricks, they'll be very, very helpful for your trainers, facilitators, coaches, managers, team leaders. That's really the focus today. I think Anne was going to share a poll today with everyone in regards to whether you have a consistent coaching cadence already or not. There you go. Excellent. So she's got 2 questions here. Do you have a regular coaching cadence for your agents? I'll answer first, yes. And what's your coaching cadence? Daily, weekly, quarterly, maybe monthly too. We can give them that option as well, Ann, if that's possible. And I just completed it. All right, so we got 30 minutes together. If you don't mind filling out the poll that Ann shared. And where can they find it? Just do they have to click polls or just going to pop up on their screen like it did mine?
It's just going to pop up on your screen.
Perfect. Excellent. Yeah, and then we'll go ahead and take a break in a few minutes and take a look at what everyone shared there. Excellent. And you should be able to see my screen.
Yes, that's
okay.
right.
Perfect. So we're really going to talk about how to use tagging, assigning, and reporting from SymTrain to get a consistent coaching cadence together. And we'll also share a little tool that we use internally. A couple of our clients gave us some ideas here for the 5-minute coaching meeting as well. And that'll be a leave behind. We'll put it in chat and we'll email it to everyone that registered for the session today, that 5-minute coaching meeting data. Is that in the chat already, Ann?
Not yet. We will share it.
Okay, perfect. Just let us know and we'll open it up and show it to everyone when we do that. All right, so that coaching plan internally starts with having access to some sort of scorecard, right? And some performance metrics for our team. Internally here at SymTrain, we'll have a HubSpot report for our BDR team. And that's the example I'll use today with our BDRs and really training them and getting them coached up on a weekly basis. They have a weekly coaching plan. They meet every day for a huddle to talk about yesterday's results and the game plan for today. And then they have a coaching cadence that they follow that's weekly as well. So in here, they'll review all their call stats, what their call activity look like for the day, for the week, call counts. They'll look at meetings scheduled. They'll look at execution rates on those meetings. And so just in here, right, we'll just look at some data points. I have Juan here had 11 meetings last week, which is a great number. And I'll just look at his data and I'll identify that 4 of those 11, didn't execute, and that's below our standards, right? So he and I in our 5-minute coaching meeting, we'll talk about, the data. Hey, let's take a look at the report, and let's take a look at what we like, what we don't like, and what you think, Juan, we should be working on. And in this case, it's pretty easy to see that he'll probably mention, hey, I could use some help with this. With these, no-show rates and my cancellation rates, something I really need to keep working on. So we got our plan. We know what we're doing. It's based on data, and we'll jump into SymTrain together right now, the group of us, and you know, if I'm working with Juan and I know, hey, there's different modules, different sims that are focused on confirmation, I'm going to want to assign those out, right? So I'll go in here real quick. I'll just look up confirm. And because I have the modules labeled, you know, confirmation or reconfirm for this, you know, meeting confirmation process module 28804, I can easily just go in and assign 28804, you know, and, oh, sorry, 28804. I can easily just go ahead and assign this out to, you know, whoever needs it. In this case, if I can get off of this thing, there we go. Juan needed it, so I'll sign it out to him. And it's 5 sims that he's going to run. And then, you know, when he's done next week, you know, and that's it. I mean, as a manager, he and I talk about it. We review the data together. We can go ahead and assign it that way. And then what's kind of interesting is if it's not there, I just added these two earlier, right? I can always add these labels for different performance metrics that each of you are tracking and using based on your own score cards and your own outcomes or your own QA data. And you're going to want to align that to your sims, right? You do a lot of that with sim labeling and naming, but really when you're getting into coaching, if it's a micro sim, a section of a call, opening, call closing, probing, you know, any of that, you know, you want to use labels to drill in to specific personas, types of calls, different learning objectives that you're shooting for, different things that are directly being pulled off of your QA metrics as well. So then you can easily come in and assign it like I did to Juan. And he and I are good. So, hey, Juan, go do your thing. He's got SymTrain. He's going to run 5 minutes a day every single day. And next week, he and I are going to do two things. We're going to go and look at his data, and I'll take a little break before I jump in and look at that in SymTrain from the reports he's doing in that activity. Is he doing it? I asked him to do it. I want to see if he did it, first off, and want to see how well he's doing. And then he and I obviously will go and look at the core performance scorecard as well. I closed that down. Sorry about that. We'll go look at the core performance scorecard as well to make sure he's, you know, his performance is improving. And that's what we'll do on each week that we get together for those 5-minute calls. So real quick, I'll jump back in, but I want to see if there's any questions from the group. And I'll just go over it again real quick. So the first thing I'm doing is based on my QA scorecards, based on my performance metrics, and based on anything that we're using to measure and work with the team and their goals. Could be critical numbers, could be my weekly scorecards if you guys follow certain EOS or Rockefeller habits on the way you engage in your rhythm. Then I would first start there. I will tag my sims accordingly. And then once I'm working with somebody, I can just go in here as a manager. I can search up based on those tags on what they need to work on, assign them out a sim or a module for the week, a series of sims, or a module that has all those sims already embedded in it. And then I'm done for the week as the manager, and they get to go run those sims, see how they're doing, and then we're going to meet again next week and review the outcomes. And do we have the poll completed? Some data there?
Yes, we do.
Can we share it?
Okay, so from the first question, do you have a regular coaching cadence for your agents? Yes, 90% of the people responded yes. And
That's
for
awesome.
the next one, what's your coaching cadence? 19% responded daily. 76% responded weekly, and 5% responded quarterly.
Okay, awesome. Good. Hey, before I show the review of the report, and I'll share some cool things that we're doing to streamline this either further, I wanted to open up the floor really to any questions. If you guys have any questions on SymTrain at all, please ask those. But particularly as it relates to streamlining your coaching sessions and using tags and labels to really help on assigning those sims and modules out so your teams can run those through the week and really be focused on the skills that they need to improve based on those coaching 5-minute coaching meetings. Any questions? All right, so let's take a look here. So I'll look here. So I mentioned Juan. Here's the team. We got Sebastian, Juan, Stephanie, and JC. Um, I'll see what activities they did in that, okay, I assigned out a module that had 5 sims in it. He took 24, so he went through that 5 times. That's awesome from an iteration perspective. I can see all his scores. And I know he spent 43 minutes. I asked him to spend 25 minutes, but he spent 43 minutes on that activity. And then I can go in and obviously I'll look at the reports again and see we'll be tracking his completion rate and if those improve based on him running these sims that we assigned. But really simple, being able to go in and pull this user data to validate that he's completing the exercises we're asking, he's getting the types of scores, he's got repetition going through, and then he and I are going to spend 5 minutes reviewing that together, get his feedback, what went well, how that's looking. We'll look at the performance scorecard as well, and then we'll set his coaching plan for the next week, or in some cases, for some of you, it's a daily plan that you have based on your morning huddles or those things that you're looking at. That's really aggressive and really awesome. But that's what we'll do together, and that keeps the cycle rolling, right? Every week, we'll look at the data together. We'll talk about the activity on the coaching from prior week. We'll look at the scorecard on the performance of coaching exercises, how that's impacting the overall QA and performance scorecards on the production floor. And then we'll talk about assigning out the next plan for the following week. And it saves me as a manager. I don't have to double jack. I don't have to go in and do all of this searching for content to identify, where I'm going to get the right call recordings and these sorts of things. All I need to do is go in, take sims that are existing, maybe request some new sims to get built, tag those up, assign them out, and I'm off to my next employee that's working for me. It's saving me, an over a couple hours on some of that activity that I have to do. And again, I'm going to do some of it with, especially the folks that I need more time with. But folks like Juan, who don't need as much of my time, I don't have to carve it out. And then what's really cool for Juan is he goes in and he's able to go directly to the skill sets that he's focused on. He also doesn't have to scan call recordings and try to find, which ones worked well, which didn't. He gets to go in and practice specific skills and get a lot of repetition throughout the week based on the things he's looking to work on. So it saves him a ton of time. And it really enables him to pinpoint those exercises that he needs to work on. Versus if I coach him up and say, hey, I need you to get better at confirmation. I need you to do a better job. Go back to the LMS, take a look at the confirmation process, and then go get better at it, which isn't bad. Probably something I want to add to the coaching, right? But then it's like, here are the exercises. And the simple part for all of you guys as customers is as long as we're using tags and labels effectively, and I'll open the floor up. I know I opened it up for any questions. I'm going to ask you again, without the poll, if you just take it off of mute, if you guys are using tags and labels already, and if you're using it very similar to how we're suggesting it today, and to quickly assign out and having managers and team leaders and facilitators assign out weekly content within the coaching rhythm that way, or if you're using it another way, those tags and labels as well. Anyway, I'll open that up. See, I'd like to ask everyone if you're using tags and labels and how you're using them today.
Hi guys, this is Alejandra. I'm here representing the cold brews. We do use tags right now just because we have 37 different clients, and some of them have 4 or 5 different lines of business.
Yep.
So tags have been super useful for us because we'll build out a specific role play for one line of business for a specific customer, and then we'll put in, for instance, if it's a easy lay down, or if there's some specific objections that they're supposed to be practicing with for that sim. And it definitely helps us when we have to assign people to overcome a specific objection, if we can kind of identify something that we've already built, and then maybe reuse that same SymTrain for a different customer or a different campaign. And it makes a lot of the work of having to build SymTrains, because sometimes it's a little bit time consuming. It makes it a lot easier for us. And also, if we need to identify a particular person that might need a little bit of assistance on a specific skill. So yeah, it's been very useful. We've actually been using tags from the beginning.
Excellent.
But yeah, super useful for us.
Awesome. And it sounded like that last use case, you shared 4 different use cases with us, which is amazing. Sounds like that last use case is very similar to the one we're talking about today, right? Around that coaching rhythm and driving it for skills improvement.
For sure. Hmm.
Absolutely. Thanks, Alejandra. Anyone else care to share about their uses of tagging and labels to really help your operations teams and your managers and coaches and facilitators streamline their efforts?
Hey Dan, Ethan here from Agents Only.
Hey,
I think similar to Alejandra, we currently use the tags to identify the specific area the agents are coming from. But to your point earlier, in terms of coaching, I think it's good to explore how we could give access to coaches on SimTrain, and then start identifying tags specifically for micro sims that are relevant to specific skills to coach. That's a really good point right there. And I have more of a feedback and probably a question of wishful thinking on coaching and probably automation of the courses. I've raised this up with Jamie in our catch up. The way that you have walked us through earlier looks like it's still going to be manual and is based on external KPI data,
yes,
right?
yes.
Right. So I'm thinking, how far along, or is there a future where we get curated data, I mean, curated SIMs out of external data that can be uploaded in SimTrain, that tells us how the agents would fare in specific skill sets or behavior, that automatically gets recommendations from the courses that are available on their profiles.
All right. So I don't know who paid you to ask that question, but whoever it is, they're owed a ton for that one. Because yeah, I wanted to show a couple things, Ethan, and I was going to do some sneak peeks today with everyone on both training plans and AI coaching plans as well. And the AI piece is way more automated, but this training plan piece, if you see our use of our good tags over here that we're talking about today, which I did show as a very manual effort. What's neat, it's like, hey, I can use a manual effort with an automated role play technology to save 2.5 hours or 2 hours a week for each of my agents, right? Potentially. Now, if I start automating some of that stuff, and here's what we have built, and we're in beta now with a few customers already on here, and we'll be reaching out to the rest of you in the next quarter or so as we're launching to test out and start trying the training plans, which you'll see as its own separate tab here. And as you look through here, I'll go ahead and add Sims to a plan, like we just mentioned, right? And then from there, I'll add success metrics and objectives to that plan too. So let's say I have a weekly training plan that I'm asking people to accomplish. How many times do I want them to run through the exercises? Minimum one, could be more. What scores do I want to get through? I want to know that they completed the exercise. I want to know that they're hitting a certain score and level. And I want to give them either unlimited practice or no practice and put them right into test mode, or give them the ability to practice a few times before they go into test mode. And I'm planning all the content, and then I'll go ahead and assign this out to those agents and make those assignments based on, the training plans that they're using. Now, that was kind of the question. Then the question was, hey, what if we have this tied to our QA metrics and our performance metrics? And what if we knew that? So there's another tool that we're building right now, and it's already in beta as well, called our AI coaching plans. And these are creating that sim content and assigning it automatically based on what's coming out of those reports, right? So all the things that you watched me do, everyone, manually in SymTrain to tag and then assign and then measure and track, that's all being done automatically and in an automated fashion through customizing your coaching plans, automated, and then assigning those out based on the skill sets that people need to work on. And, this is a sneak peek look at what the dashboard will look like. I'll have specific coaching plans that'll bubble up to my overall training plans and what I'm trying to accomplish. I'll have, again, core objectives based on those scores coming out of my performance scorecards that I have. And I'll be able to create and assign those sims based on the skills that we need to work on, or our agents need to work on a very individualized or bespoke fashion. So this is a plan around empathy. This is a plan around handle time. It's a 6-minute program. This one, same way. I know if they completed them, I'll know what their score exercises are, and I'll know how well they're doing. I can drill into the individual sims that are in a coaching plan. And then I can, obviously, this is a look at running them just like you're doing today, and go from there. So this is something we're really excited about. And I appreciate you asking, because wanted to share it with everyone anyway today and give you a sneak peek view of what's coming, both from the ability to take that coaching rhythm and assign success metrics, assign completion requirements, and amount of repetition, and just kind of automate the flow that way. And then also be able to link right into your performance scorecards and automate the assignment and automate the creation of those micro sims and that content based on how everyone's doing and how our folks are doing on the floor. Did that answer the question long-windedly?
Yes, it did. Thanks, Dan. Exciting
Awesome.
times.
Thank you. Thanks for asking it. Excellent. Any other questions? These helpful, everyone. This is my first one I'm doing. Super excited about prepping for it and getting on here and sharing. As I mentioned, we're going to be sharing. Let's just see if it's in there already. It might be in here already. We're going to be sharing this. Yeah, cool. This coaching 5-minute coaching plan overview. We got it from some clients that were doing something very similar. They said, hey, here's some ideas you might want to share with other folks, right? Around, hey, how do I execute a 5-minute coaching call? How often? When do I do it? What am I trying to accomplish, right? Take a look at performance metrics, assign daily sim activity on average, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week, target exercises to improve skills. And so there's just a little bit of an overview here if you want to use this tool to help, adjust or input into your coaching rhythm as well. So I love that 90% everyone has a coaching cadence and rhythm that you're using with the teams. That's super beneficial and helpful to them, your agents, which is really exciting. We have about 4 minutes left. Any other questions you want to ask? And we'll email this 5-minute coaching call overview out as well. No other questions? Yeah, great question, Ethan. I know. So I think he sounds like Ethan was teed up for that one, I'm telling you. But I love it. Awesome. Here's some links in here. Great, guys. Real quick before you go, I think I was asking before if these have been helpful. Was today's meeting helpful to you guys, just to kind of get organized and hear different ways that you can get in and use SymTrain to either get faster, get better, and get better performance from your teams?
Totally helpful, Dan.
Awesome. Thanks, Ethan. Excellent. All right, guys. Look forward to doing it again. And please share your feedback via email with your success managers, with the teams here at SymTrain. The feedback on these sessions, things that you'd like to see in future sessions. We all kind of fight over them and get excited. This was like I said, my first opportunity to do one, and I can't wait to do my next one. And really look forward to really kind of keeping on point with things that you guys are looking for and want to hear about within SymTrain and optimizing your experience. So I love it. I appreciate you guys. Thanks for coming and joining us today.
Thanks, Dan.
Yeah, absolutely. Take care, guys.
Thank you.
Is there a question there?
Thank you.
Dan.
Yep. See ya.